Originally, when we started our business, it was military lawn cuts and landscaping. We were running into problems where people were like, yeah, that's military lawns. Nobody knew our name because it was just kind of complex, simple scales. So let's maybe lean into a service that we can do year round, like lawn care, like Good Shepherd's Lawn Care. 10 months out of the year, you can market that, the name of the business. You know what I mean? You really want to target the meat and potatoes. And for us, 60% of it is mowing, 35% of it's like weed control, 10, 15% bush and bed service. We don't even need to get in the landscaping side. We'll just upsell it through texts and emails every month. Like, hey, we're running a bush trimming promotion, and sell people that way. All right. So today we have Skylar out in Oklahoma. Skylar, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Skylar, can you give us maybe like a 20 or 30-second snippet of kind of where you're at in business? And then we can get into the Q&As and see how I can help.
Okay, sure. So I've really looked at it and planned it out for quite a while, but last year, mid-season, really mid to late season, right before July, I decided I was going to start part-time just on Saturdays, actually. I had a pretty packed schedule with work and church stuff. So I started about then, and I have it written down. I had like 8 or 9 jobs immediately with one Facebook group post. So I basically ended the season with 5 lawns on Saturdays only. And then I immediately in October went into pushing for Christmas lights. And I actually offered to help another company out, figured out the ropes. And then I did 3 paid light jobs. I did one for my grandmother-in-law for free with her own lights. But yeah, so I've just started really. This is my first spring rush, and I am just trying to start off on the right foot. I have some goals for it, but that's where I'm at right now, starting the first actual full-time spring rush.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Kudos to you for taking that first step. Most people don't. And you decided to, even on those Saturdays, even mid-season or towards the end of the season. So kudos to you. So Skylar, what are your goals? Like, what are your goals with the business? Where do you want this to go? What is your end goal with this?
Sure. Long term, I want to, step out of operations. I think I would like to keep regular recurring mowing, add the weed and fertilization spraying in the future, and Christmas lights for the off season. Here, it's pretty much a perfect curve of supply and demand for the lights. So that's what I want to get it to, and be out of operations. Have a manager trained up. I want to use it to train people, and kind of like where you're at. Actually, that's one of the reasons I wanted to, get on a call with you, because you kind of have that set up where not necessarily, I don't have to be 100% out. You know what I mean? But I love business and how it operates. So my goal is pretty much just to build it to where kind of like where you're at is what I see.
Yeah. Are you looking at like doing one big kind of business, or just branching it off into multiple locations, or do you have like a revenue amount, or just to basically just get your time back and get out of the operation?
Sure. I thought about that today, and I kind of thought a max of 3 locations would be what I would look for, and kind of localized within an hour or so. Yeah. And watching Mike's, I watched a presentation he had from the summit he did, talking about that 500 to 800,000. And, that would be my top end, like 800,000 would be that revenue goal, just so that it can be easily managed by a GM. And so that would be per location if I got to that point. But, I think my first big push for the long-term goal would be to get that one location up to that revenue point of 800,000, and then start, and in the process of that, building those systems out so that it can be done.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that sounds good. That gives me kind of a good idea of like where we're going, right? So that way I can kind of advise you accordingly.
Sure.
What questions do you have for me?
One first one that's kind of just been on my mind is the accounting. I saw that you also do like a profit first type accounting, and I like that. I read that book long before I actually found you, and I was just wondering how that is with the bookkeeping with different accounts, or how you do it, or you do not do actual different bank accounts.
So good question. So we have done profit first up until this point. We are shifting actually away from it. However, don't let that discourage you. I think you should implement it in your business. It will teach you how to be really on top of the accounts and everything. So I would actually recommend it for you, at least at your first location, to kind of learn that process. How that works is we have one bank that we use, and then we just open up checking accounts with other banks. You don't need any debit card, because you're not going to be like, you operate everything out of one account, which is the OPEX. So you would have an income account where the money comes in, and then you have your operating account, and then maybe you have like a sales tax account or like tax account, like I added an emergency fund account, marketing account, big ticket item like CapEx accounts of like, hey, this is what we're going to use to buy trucks and equipment. So yeah. And then when you get like, what we did is like every like week or every other week, we would just go in there and then have our spreadsheet, and then we would plug in how much money we have in the income account, and then it would get by percentages dispersed into those other businesses. So it does take some manual time to actually like transfer, because there was a point where we had 14 bank accounts, and I don't recommend that. We got a little kind of carried away with it. So realistically, you probably only need like probably 4 to 6. I'd say probably
That's
6 in that sweet spot.
so I have that right now. I have Relay, and it's a business banking thing, and it actually does it automatically. And there is a pro version, but the free version does the automatic. You can set the day you want it to transfer per week or per month, however you want. So I have that. I was just wondering on the accounting side if doing those transfers and like labeling, categorizing those transfers, what it looked like. But I agree. Like I think it's going to be helpful to just stay on course of my goals and kind of setting those target percentages. But
Yeah, for the accounting side of it, are you using QuickBooks?
well, no, not yet. I was going to pay for it once I got started in the season and start pushing everything in, but I've just been on a spreadsheet.
Yeah, so once you get the QuickBooks account set up where it's tracking, you would want to add all of those bank accounts to that QuickBooks, and it will track when money is moved back and forth. But it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is a little bit more bookkeeping work, whether you're doing it or you hire a bookkeeper to just log the transfers and say, hey,
Sure.
this money went from the marketing account to the OpEx. But until the money like actually fully leaves like the OpEx account, like it's just getting bounced back and forth in between,
Sure.
so.
Sure. Yeah, I think in long term, I will move away from it too, especially for like a general manager's sake or whatever, and just kind of have some thresholds and things in place. But that's one question that I had. But I do. So this being my first spring rush, I'm aware that once the demand really hits, then I'll have kind of more response on marketing. I'm kind of trying to time. I think my branding stuff I've been very paralyzed, I guess, because I don't have my branding down. And I felt like I need that on my door hangers. I need that on flyers. So I kind of just pushed past that. And I'm like, I'm just going to get some ordered, printed out soon. But I was going to do that this weekend, actually. And so that I can just start at least doing 5 rounds and going in the neighborhoods I want to go into. But I guess on that for the branding and setting up my website, do you have like a simple like way to get like leads landing page, or like implementing just a simple form and putting it on a landing page just to get a site up so that I have that working for me in the background?
Yeah. So if you're not tech savvy, there is a website out there called Fiverr, Fiverr.
Yeah.
Dude, I would hire somebody overseas for a quarter or fraction of the price you would pay somebody in America to build a website. And they're like, because you don't know everything, right? Like you could, and this is what I did, take the time to sit down on YouTube, pull up, hey, how do I build a Wix form? How do I implement Jot form into the website? Like you can do that if you have the time, which you probably do. Maybe. You just have to balance if you have enough money or funds to pay somebody, or if you just want to do it yourself. There's nothing wrong with doing it yourself. I built our website from day one, and I'll tell you right now, it's great how it is. Right. Well, actually, we're still I got somebody working on it right now. So if you go to it, it might be look a little janky, but hopefully it'll be done in about a week or two. But even now, like we're constantly tweaking, changing.
Yeah.
And so like even if you do have the time to build your Wix website or any website, WordPress, Squarespace, it doesn't matter what you use. Maybe just use something that's like easy to use and create, even just as long as you get one page up. And then next season you add one or two more pages, and then the next season you add one or two more pages, and you just kind of like it just improves over time. But as far as like forms, do you have a domain yet, or like
I have several.
a website?
Yeah, I have several. So one of the branding things I wasn't settled. The name of right now, what I have is Good Shepherd Lawn and Lights.
Mhm.
Good Shepherd Lawn and Lights. But I have Shepherd Lawns, Christmas Lights More, Good Shepherd Lawn and Lights.com, all.com. Maybe one or two more. And so I have the domains for those, and I've kind of started building because I bought the domains on Namecheap, and I started with their site builder and like a shared hosting plan, starting to get it up. But it's just, I don't have the assets, like the pictures of me on mowing. I kind of don't want generic, which I can't really find any. I guess I have some stock photo I could add in there, but
yeah.
but
Just do generic at first. Like I'm telling you, it's not going to be progress over perfection.
yeah,
A
and I think
lot of
that's
people,
what's holding me up.
yeah, a lot of people get hung up on the like minute details about like making sure it's perfect. It's not going to be perfect. If you go to my website right now, I actually have a few stock photos still on the website. When I get the time, which I'm busy, but when I get the time, I'm gonna have to swap those photos out, right? You'll just swap all that and make it better over time. As long as you can get the photos up, even if it's a stock photo, I
Okay.
think you'll be
I
fine.
do one more question on the website. What are like maybe 3 or 4 essential things you think need to be on the, like if I'm just going to put the basic landing page, maybe a contact page?
Yeah, definitely the logo. I would get very clear on the name. So are you building multiple like landing pages and websites for these
I was going
domains,
to
or are you
redirect.
funneling?
I
Okay.
was
Yeah, I would do that. Honestly, man, okay, I don't know if you necessarily need all of those domains. I would get very simple. Simplicity scales, right? So you said Good Shepherd Lawn and Lights. Good
yes.
Shepherd Lawn and Lights. That's 5 words. When you start adding multiple locations, it's going to be Tulsa. Wait, it's going to be Good Shepherd Lawn and Lights of Tulsa. So now it's 7 words,
Yeah.
right? Whatever the city name is going to be, or like whatever, like those 5 words plus of and then the city name. It might be Oklahoma City too. Like that's 3 other words. So there are certain things like Google My Business that you can only have so many characters in the title. Plus, from a customer standpoint, you want them to recognize it easily. So as simple as you can, the better. Like you do want to get the point across. And I'll give you an example. Originally, when we started our business, it was military lawn cuts and landscaping. And then we dropped the and landscaping. We were like, I don't know, like we do bush and bed services, but we don't really do a ton of landscaping. So we dropped the landscaping, and now it's military lawn cuts. It's 3 words of, and then whatever the city is. It's just a lot more simpler. We were running into problems where people were like, yeah, that's military lawns, or that's military cuts,
Mm-hmm.
or like they just, nobody knew our name because it was just kind of complex. Now I think our logo was very, very busy also. So again, simplicity scales. It really, it's such a cliche saying, but yeah. Sorry, I got off track.
No,
What was
that
your
was
original
good.
question?
That was good. You were being clear on the name, and my wife kind of suggested that kind of too.
Yeah.
She was saying Shepherd Lawn and Lights. Just cut good off, do Shepherd Lawn and Lights, and that makes me think, because I kind of saw the same thing, but I was like, man, I've already got this and this DBA but honestly, I think it's worth it in the end to just start off right.
Yeah. And here's my 2 cents on that. And I would challenge you on this because you're down in Oklahoma. You're probably in a similar market than I, maybe an hour or 2 north of me. How many, like out of the year, you're probably doing Christmas lights 2 months?
Yeah, 2.5. I'm starting in October. A couple people I've already said they're willing to go that early, and I think I'm going to try to. So October, November, early December.
Yeah. So maybe 2, maybe 3
Yeah,
months, right?
yeah,
You're talking like only 25% of the year. Is 25% of the year's revenue, and you may not even do a ton, worth putting that in the name? Or because like when you look at Augusta Lawn Care, they do, which they are separately branding the lights,
Yeah.
which is a different play. But most, I would say 9 out of 10 companies, what they do is they just Augusta Lawn Care, and then when October rolls around, they just upsell the customers into, oh, by the way, we do lights too, instead of putting it in their main name. You know what I mean? Which is kind of a play too. Yeah, that's like the only thing that I would challenge you on too is like if you did mention that you were wanting to get in the weed control side of things. Well, the weed control is nice because it's literally year round. Might be a little bit different in Oklahoma when it snows. Probably can't do weed control or like winterizer and stuff. But I would say 10 months out of the year, you can do probably weed control up there in Oklahoma. So instead of maybe putting the lights in the title, I would say, let's maybe lean into a service that we can do year round, like lawn care, like Good Shepherd's Lawn Care. Like that would be, I think, a better route or a better play, because 10 months out of the year, you can market that versus having the lights in there. That's only like really a small percentage of the revenue.
Yeah. I think, like on, obviously I'm really fresh with it, but for the lights, for the same amount of customers, it can be like over half the revenue. It's like high margin, but I think that's what kind of I leaned into when I put it in the name, because I really want to attract that more. So really, I do want the recurring revenue, and lights are recurring. It's just annual. So that's one thing, because it is a higher percentage of revenue than it is time.
Yeah. And I'm probably not the best person to ask, right? Because we don't actually do lights. I do have
Yeah.
a buddy who does lights. I think they did like 125K last year in my market. I think he said like 20 or 25K of that was from lights.
Yeah.
So again, just, and he, and I just don't know if you have all of that experience yet, because like
Right.
the nice thing about the lawn care is like you sell them once and then you're there like 6 to 8 times for the rest of the year, or you sell them on mowing and then you're there for like 25 more visits. Like it is a lower ticket price,
Yeah.
but if you add up each customer for us between mowing and weed control is about 2K a year. So as long as we acquire one recurring customer, like they're going to make us 2,000 a year every year that we hold them for.
Yeah.
And so, and that's 10 months mainly out of the year versus like that one time service. I'm not saying to not do the Christmas lights. I'm just saying that maybe just reach out to someone in your area that does the lights and see if as long as they're doing both the mowing during the mowing season and the lights, just see ask them what percentage of the revenue are you doing in Christmas lights in your overall? Because if it's less than 25%,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't lean into that in the title of the name, because that's really, really important. The name of the business. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
really want to target the meat and potatoes. And for us, the meat and potatoes, 80% of our revenue is like 60% of it is mowing. And I think like 35% of it's like weed control.
Yeah.
And then like 10-15% bush and bed service, other stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
hey, we don't even need to get in the landscaping side, or like even mention that. We'll just upsell it through texts and emails every month. Be like, hey, we're running a bush trimming promotion, and sell people that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely consider it and look at that, because I am all for simplifying it too and making it, just easily recognizable.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Good Shepherd though. To me, that's like good faith, Good
Yeah.
Shepherd, a follower, believer, faith-based, like
Yeah.
Good Shepherd lawn care. And lawn care kind of encompasses everything. It's got weed control, it's caring for the lawn,
Yeah.
it's maintaining the lawn. And that's why, like, Good Shepherd lawn care, 4 words, straight shot. Oh, by the way, we do Christmas lights. We're taking early signups in October. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
just running that kind of ad promotion. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. And now I remember what the question was. What are the 3 main points on the website? All right.
Sure.
3 main points on the website. Number 1, I would say to have the form make it easy for customers to pay you. I see too many times where you go to a website and the form is literally, you got to scroll all the way to the bottom, or they got to click this little bitty button that says quote now or free quote. Have the form right there, smack dab on the top of every single page. If you go to our website, it is at the top on every single page. And it's not even like a little bit below. If you put it below, half of it needs to be at least visible for the customer that says get quote now. And then immediately they could just start filling the form out. You don't want it to take them to another page. You don't want any of that. You want them to be able to fill the form out right when they get to the website, that homepage. I'd say that's number one. Make it easy for customers to give you their information or pay you. Number two, as far as the website goes, I would probably say the SEO functionality of it. So really like leaning into the core services you offer, using those words multiple times in a title, like in the main H1 title on that page, as well as the body paragraphs. We need to be using our lawn care services and then like the city names too. Like we need to be doing that search engine optimization for our city names, the services we offer constantly through titles. And I would make that very, very clear. That will help when somebody searches Norman Lawn Care Services near me. Boom. You're the first one pops up because you mentioned it 5 times in your website or on the page. Okay, last one. I think just overall the appearance of it, even if you have one homepage, like just making it as professional as possible and like easily able to load. So a lot of people, there's a website out there called Tiny Image. So all of the pictures you can compress down to a much smaller image. It will make the website load faster. Also putting like a video in the background, I think is like, again, if you go to our website, you can see on the back, there's a video that plays. Getting some footage of your crews actually working or somebody mowing some lawns in your uniform. And it could be a 10 or 12-second video. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. It could just, hey, clip of him mowing. Okay, clip of him weed eating. Clip of them pushing a spreader, because those are the core services you offer, or something similar around there, right? And then just, focusing on that one page and making sure that when they get there, it clearly shows that you are going to bring them high value. You are not a chuck in a truck that's doing this on the weekend. You are you have to portray yourself through that page as a professional. And the way that you do that is through good photos, ideally, probably not stock, but if it's stock to get started, great. Then in the next month, hire, or you get some pictures of the crews or you working, have somebody come out and take pictures of you. And then again, compress the images through Tiny Image website, and then you can upload it and they'll make it load faster. But I would just say just kind of like the overall appearance, making sure the colors are accurate for your uniforms, whatever, if you're doing truck wraps or partials, whatever your color is in the branding, again, you want to kind of keep that consistent.
Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. That kind of gives me some guidelines, and just try not to overthink it and get stuck by perfection like you were talking about. I think with the name and stuff, all that, Google My Business, I'm just going to be able to match everything up once I get decided on that.
Yeah, sorry, that's another key point. You want to make sure on all the pages, Facebook, Nextdoor, Yelp, Google My Business, your actual website, the address is exactly the same. The name is exactly the same. The phone number is exactly the same. Create a YouTube channel, create a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever. You're building real estate on the internet by doing that. Everything, the name needs to be exactly the same, phone number, everything. The cities you service, the descriptions. We service these 3 cities for these 3 services. Everything, the same.
Yeah. Okay. Those were the bigger ones, kind of just keeping me locked down before spring rush. But I don't know. Do you have anything like guiding questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about marketing. So what are you doing? What does the budget look like for the spring? And what's the game plan?
Okay, so I had a lot more. We had major car engine failure replacement happen. So right now in the business account, we have $750 because I didn't start it until after the season. One of my last light checks came into that business account, and then I have about $2,500 in personal to put towards the business once we start rolling.
Yeah.
I already have equipment, that to get me by. It's used, one commercial 36 or 32 inch stand on, and a residential push, and then some. I think my weed eaters commercial, I have just a regular edger and blower. So I have the equipment. So basically most of my money, as long as nothing happens with the equipment, should be able to go towards marketing.
Okay, so do you have a truck?
A personal, yeah, right now that I'm using.
Do you have any kind of signage on it?
I've talked to some local businesses to try to get at least on the back windshield and get magnets or something for the side. but that's right now. That's all I've talked to anyone about.
Is it like a true personal vehicle where it's like a specific color and not like a generic white truck? Is
Yeah,
this like a true personal vehicle
it's
that you
an
don't want to
old
deck out as a work truck?
yeah, it's an old which I want to sell it, but not until I can replace it. But it's an old Chevy C1500, like an older truck, and it's two-tone brown, and it's lowered on like it's leveled. I bought it like that, but that was before I knew I was going to use it for this. I knew I could use it, but not full force into the business. So yeah, it's not really ideal for the business truck, and it's older too, so it's not really the image for. I mean, it's nothing bad. It's in good shape, but it's just not. I was gonna maybe put vinyl, well, just big phone number put on the like tailgate across the bed of the truck. I mean, but I didn't know exactly. I was for sure gonna do the windshield and magnets, but if I don't know.
How many years left do you think that truck's got in it that you would use it for?
The business, I'm hoping no more than 2, but I mean, it can last. I think it'll last. It has lower miles, like 120.
Okay. Dude, honestly, if I were you, I know you're kind of tight on cash. Okay, so what I've seen is so you definitely probably don't want to go the paid route on the website. If I were you, I'd build it myself. Just take the time, watch YouTube videos, whatever platform you're going to use. It's really not that hard. With a few hours of chat GPT, asking it questions and giving me exact details on how to put this form on my website using chat GPT and YouTube, you can build a one page in a week, in under a week, spending a few hours a day, on that. As far as that goes, okay, so you're good there. And then, dude, yeah, man, what I have seen time and time again is the truck decals sell. They just do. So if I were you, we've done magnets before. They did not do very well on the truck. Like it's just smaller. It's semi. I think a little bit unprofessional. It kind of portrays that it's somebody doing it just on the weekends. Doesn't have a lot of money. It just that's the vibe, I think. So if possible, and this might cost you a few $100s, but if you could get at least just the phone number as big as possible on the side of the truck. And if you could make that last for 2 years, I think you will make over 5 to 10 times what you paid for it easily. Over the next 24 months. Easily. Like,
yeah.
And so, yeah, I would do that at least first. And then that might cost you $750, which is what you got in the bank right now. But if you got, a couple grand on the side personally, then I would take, about 1,000 of those, 1,000 of that dollars. You want to leave I would leave $1,000 emergency fund somewhere, somehow, in case that.
And we have other income coming in. It's not just this. So, well, it's not going to put us in. And I'm still working flexible part-time. I don't know if I put it in an email to you, but I'm working flexible part-time where I can take hours. So it's not, I also have a personal emergency fund and other things. This is just like earmarked funds.
Okay, so you got a little bit of money other places, which is good. So there's a little bit of a safe haven. That makes me feel better about this. Phone number as big as possible on the side, not magnets. I would get the actual vinyl lettering. I think that will serve you much better. I really believe that. The truck is a moving billboard. Everywhere you go, we want to be branding. If possible, I would like to maybe see a name on the truck. My only fear is if you don't have any like equipment or anything like on the truck, and then there's a phone number, like nobody knows what it's for. It's just like, oh, there's a phone number on a truck, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what we did in our beginning days is, again, we were military lawn cuts and landscaping, and our logo was kind of complex. We were still figuring out our branding and all that stuff. So all we did is put our website, which was simple. It was www.militarylawncuts.com. It's like, oh, okay, that's easier than military lawn cuts and landscaping and all this other stuff. So we just put our website really big. So although it was like the website, and I think we even took off the www and just put militarylawncuts.com. But at least when people looked at that, it was like, okay, military and then lawn cuts. So they're probably mowing lawns. So you could at least do like Good Shepherd lawn care, like along the whole like back wheel well above the wheel. like really big. It's like, oh, that's lawn care. Got it. Okay. And then the phone number really big. If you don't have like the logo set yet or the brand or the coloring, that's okay. But maybe just something that so that way customer know, like if you're at a gas station and somebody walks by, it's not just a random phone number.
Yeah.
I think that'll help
For sure.
And then the last kind of probably 1,000 or 2,000, Skylar, what I would do is get as many door hangers as possible, and then make it a goal for you this year. Like if you're really wanting to go from part-time to full-time this year, like we got to really put out a lot of door hangers when the grass starts growing. I would say a minimum 10K, and that's going to take a long time. That's going to probably take you at least a month, depending on how active you are with doing door hangers and stuff. But like, yeah, because these door hangers are typically maybe 10 cents. So on 10,000 flyers times, it's $1,000. So for $1,000, you should be able to get about 10K door hangers. And I would do more than just 5 rounds. When you have the time,
yeah, sure.
I would just like 4 to 6 hours a day, just constant door hangers, get those steps in, the cardio.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. On those door hangers, I've started designing one, but I didn't know, like, should I put too much? I don't know if I'm putting too much info, like all the services or do an instant quote, basically kind of for mowing. Don't know how much I should put on there because I'm trying to think, if I picked it up, would I just be overwhelmed? Like, oh, it's just a ton of junk, or making it look professional. It's kind of one of my main goals, putting some key selling points on there, but I don't really know. I guess that's the design part of like marketing. The design for the marketing materials is what is kind of holding me up.
Yeah, you could probably go to like, if you have you ever used Canva?
Yeah, that's what I'm designing on.
Yeah, so if on there you could just go to the templates and maybe just do like lawn care door hanger, see what comes up for them. What I will tell you is the less words, the better. Just get the message across, simple scales. Again, people want to put like paragraphs of stuff on there, and it's like nobody's going to sit there and read that. Make it easy for people to buy from you. I just watched a video recently, actually. We haven't tested this, but I think it might be a good idea. They were allowing customers to text the number. So with you being where you're at and you putting maybe your own phone number on the truck and you having the texting capability, that might be a pretty sweet gig, because the people that you're targeting, when they come home from a long day of work and they get the flyer on the door after working 8 hours a day, do you think the last thing they want to do is get on the phone with a salesperson to sell them on 15 minutes on lawn care? No.
Right.
So if you could put on there, text now, name, and then just like, okay, boom, just text lawn care or mow to your phone number, like something simple, and then boom, they text you mow. And then all you do is like respond back, okay, great, I need your name, phone number, address, and we'll get you a quote. And it's like easy. Like how can we make it easy for the customers to sell, right? But you could do something like that on it, putting like a texting option. You could drive them to your website, give them that option too, so people want to kind of check you out first. Or you can have them just call. I would try to stick with maybe one call to action on there of like text now or like visit the website or something, whatever you want to drive. Keep it simple. If you do instant door hangers, or like instant pricing, I would not do multiple services. Just do one price, one service. For us, what has worked well is listing all the services we offer, and then just kind of like doing that as a blanket in the spring, because you might have people that want just their bushes trimmed, or you might want people that just want the weed control or something like that. So if you're doing an instant price with one price, you're kind of missing out, unless you're like doing it on that one needed service that month. Like obviously 3 to 4 weeks from now, everybody's going to need their lawn mowed. Yeah. It's like, okay, yeah, that would make sense to be the time to do the instant price. But the problem is when that window ends, the flyers are kind of irrelevant right now, or you're not going to get great return on it. So we like kind of just listing all, I think we do like 3 to 5 core services. And then that way we can kind of use the flyers majority of the year, even if it's a before or a little after that window,
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I think I was tunnel vision on the instant price for mowing, thinking, just get all that recurring work.
And
but no.
I don't think you're wrong, Skylar. So what you can do, what's cool is you could split test it. Why not do
Sure.
5,000 instant pricers and then 5,000 of the other
Sure.
ones? And then what you would do is in your territory, figure out a boundary, and then everything on the left side do this door hanger, everything on the right side do the other door hanger. And then if all of a sudden you get 15 clients on this side, I'd do that door hanger again next year.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, it might take you another hour or two to build or redesign the template, but you can order 5,000 of one door hanger and 5,000 of the other.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple.
Okay. Just getting the game plan together. Okay.
Yeah, 10K minimum though. If you want to ramp this up, too many people think too small. Not saying that you think small, but I did when I started, and I'm like, okay, I'll just do 5 rounds, or hey, let's do like maybe 5,000 door hangers. It's like, no, like how do we need to do more. It's all a numbers game. It's literally all a numbers game. When you're hiring people, when you're trying to get customers, the more you put out, the more action you do with door hangers, it will lead to more customers. So we just need to increase that action significantly. And too many people do think too small on that. And they're like, yeah, I'll put out like a couple thousand. Yeah, we need to do like 10 plus. Shoot for 20 if you can. Like try to expand the mind, right? It's like a mindset exercise.
Okay. Actually, one other thing came to my mind. I've seen some of your videos where you show like your resources, and I'm thinking ahead, but also for my own purposes, but like the resources you have for employees, just the stuff that's posted on the walls, even, like this is the process. This is what keeps us efficient, like the direction to weed eat, where you park and things like that. So for developing that, I didn't check to see if you have those available or just tips to develop them myself.
Yeah. I don't have them available. You could probably watch any of my videos and then just pause the video and you can just take a picture and recreate it. As far as developing them, they will constantly change, constantly evolve, and get better. You won't have all of them up front, but you will realize the ones you need based on the questions your team asks and the problems you come in contact with. So if everybody is having problems with like getting this job done in an adequate amount of time, then it's either a training problem or it's a people problem. And so I would start with the training problem. It's like, okay, then we need to build a diagram of show people where to park, where to start, so they're not taking excessive steps on the property. Another thing would be like when you onboard a new team member, they literally will start to ask you the same questions every time. What do I do when the dog's out there? What do I do when there's like a locked gate? What do I do if there's a ton of dog waste? Okay, then we need to build a process around this because I don't want to sound like a broken record. But the thing is you don't know that yet. So that's why I say don't get too hung up on the systems. It's good you're thinking about that, but those will come and evolve as you start to like get the reps in and see the trends that are constantly happening. But yeah, just trying to keep it simple. I also used to I would fall into the trap when you are building a system or a process or something like that. I would analyze it way too much and go way deep and hit every single step of it. Dude, I built this training binder. It's crazy. It's like every little thing. And the reality is you don't need that. You don't need that. And you look at the system and you say, okay, for somebody to do a lawn mowing job, what do they need? Like, what are the core things? Okay, they need to mow, they need to weed eat, they need to edge, and they need to blow. It's like, okay, then from there, what are like the 2, maybe max 3 key big points? It's like, okay, mowing. Do 2 perimeter passes, then start striping the backyard, right? Always start in the front. You don't ever want to start in the back because then the back always takes the longest. And then that allows the other guy to clean up the front. Like, okay, those are the 2 big key points. Okay, great. Next one, weed eater. Do not full throttle the weed eater. Like this is, dude, we've had like so many damage cases, like half throttle it. It's a commercial high power equipment. That's all you need. That's all the power you need. Half throttle it. And then like show them the diagram. So like you're basically like, I would get way too deep in the systems and like go at way too deep is kind of where I'm getting at with this. But like, again, simple scales. So if you just give them like focus, okay, to sum this up and wrap this on a bow, focus on the 80% of the problems, not the like 20%. Like there's always going to be those weird things, right? Well, what if it's an overgrown lawn? It's like 80-90% of the time, they're not overgrown lawns. The only time we get overgrown lawns is in like March and April when it's spring and we're onboarding a ton of new customers. And then literally after you cut it once, it's not overgrown anymore. So why are we focusing on the overgrown lawns?
Right.
95% of the time, don't focus on that 5%. If you're tailored to the 5%, dude, it's going to be tough to build a business. Trust me. And even today, like constantly when we build a form on our website, we're like, yeah, but what if they wanted that insect control? And it's like, but how many people actually want insect control? 5% of our customers. So why are we tailoring it to them?
Yeah.
Who cares? Let's focus on the 95% of the revenue services that we offer. You know, it's a weird thing, but yeah,
That makes sense.
on the majority, I would say.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's really what I just need to hear, because just balancing that systems being detail oriented, but also just taking action, just doing it, getting it done, keeping it simple as I can. And honestly, that's my desire, is to keep it simple, because if I'm wanting to step out eventually, I don't want it to be so complex that they have to have my brain to do it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, that's pretty helpful on just helping me create a game plan going into the season and getting the marketing materials ready, checking my name out and making sure it's available.
Awesome. Yeah, man, you're gonna crush it. I think if you follow that game plan, I sometimes sound a little bit like a broken record sometimes of like, hey, do this, but I'm telling you, those are the three trios: the website, vinyl stickers on the truck, and then the last one is door hangers. 10,000 of them. If you do that, dude, you'll be hitting me up at the end of the season and be like, man, I got 60, 70 customers.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yep.
There you go. I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you've provided a lot of value. I've started watching you over the last year or so. I appreciate it. And I really appreciate you taking the time on Saturday to
Absolutely,
give
man.
me some advice and help me out, just get my thoughts straight. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on. You asked a lot of good questions.
Well, thanks. You gave some great answers.